Okay, hi Jerry. We're going to go ahead and do episode 4 of Gerry Learns to Cook, and today we are making Dutch babies or German pancakes. These are favorites of mine since I was little. I spent the night at a friend's house. We had these for breakfast and I've been making them ever since. Super simple recipe. You are going to need a grown-up to help you because it does involve a hot oven, and once again you get to use the knife, so you'll need a grown-up for that. Let's quickly run through your tools and your ingredients, and then we can get started making the Dutch babies. The first thing that you're going to need is a muffin pan. It probably is going to have 12 muffin pan holes in it. The recipe we're making is going to have enough batter to make that many. My pan only has 6 holes in it. It's a little one because I have a little bitty oven so I can show you what I'm doing. You're also going to need a nice bowl and a couple of spoons to do some mixing, your knife to do some cutting, and then we'll go ahead and run through the ingredients. You need 3 eggs, you need half a cup of flour, you need half a cup of milk. I put mine in a jar because sometimes I don't have the right measuring. I already used my half cup measure for the flour, and I know the jar is a half cup. I'm also going to use a little bit of vanilla. We have some melted butter, and we have some confectionery sugar, or sometimes you'll hear me call it 10x sugar. We have some of that as well to use, and then we have a little bit of granulated sugar to use in our recipe too. So that's the stuff that you're going to need. Make sure you have a grown-up. You're going to need a hot oven. You need to turn your oven on now. Have the grown-up turn the oven to 415 degrees, please. And let's get started making our Dutch babies. Okay, so now we are ready to take our ingredients and put them all together and make our batter. This is a very simple batter, and you really can't make any mistakes except actually leaving a whole ingredient out. Sometimes in baking it's got to be super fussy, and this is really easy. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to put our 3 eggs into our bowl. We're going to use our fork to go ahead and beat them up. And I'm just going to kind of break them up a little bit. You don't have to beat them up a lot, but if you like beating eggs, beat them up as much as you want. So I've gone ahead and I've gotten them broken up a bit, enough to go ahead and start this. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to add them in a particular order, but it really doesn't matter because we're going to put everything in the bowl and start mixing. So I have a half a cup of flour. I'm going to go ahead and put that right in, and then we're going to go ahead and we have a half a cup of milk. We put that in a glass jar because that's a 4-ounce jar. Half a cup is 4 ounces, a cup is 8 ounces. I'll go ahead and dump that right in. We have a little bit of granulated sugar. Later on, we're going to use a little bit of confectionery or 10x sugar. We're going to use 1 teaspoon, but this is a teaspoon, the kind that you use when you're eating. Just go ahead and dump that in, and that is just the regular granulated sugar. And then we're going to also use a little bit of vanilla. Vanilla, we're also just going to use the tool that we have at hand. We're going to use approximately a teaspoon of vanilla. You could measure it, or just like we did last time, you could use the cap and just put a little bit in the cap, dump it in, good to go. We're going to mix using this spoon because this spoon is what we're going to use to go ahead and put it into the muffin cups. But if you want to use a bigger spoon or a whisk to mix it together, go ahead and do that. Whatever you have in your kitchen and whatever makes you comfortable and you like doing. So I'm going to mix it together, and it's going to take a couple of minutes to come together, so you're going to have to mix it for a while, Jerry. But the fun thing is, if you have lumps in here, don't worry about it. If it seems like it's not quite all the same, don't worry about that either. This is going to work pretty much no matter what you do. The only thing that you can do wrong when you're making this kind of is to put too much batter in your cups. So we've got that mixed together. The batter's looking good. I'm going to move it a little bit to our side here. I've got our melted butter there, and I'm going to go ahead and grab our muffin pan. The muffin pan, I have the 6 holes. Remember, you're probably going to have 12, and the recipe will make enough for all 12. So I'm going to put just a little bit of butter in each pan, in each cup of the pan. And as you can see, I'm going to hold this up so you can see this a little bit better. I'm putting just enough in there so that you can cover up the bottom of the cup. You need just enough in there so that the bottom of the cup gets it. So butter in all of the cups, then we can switch to putting the batter in there. As it sat for a minute, you can see that we've got some lumps. That's okay. Mix it up again a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and put it right into the cup. I find that it takes like 2 of these to put in there, but you're just looking for a little bit of batter. You want it to be probably about 1/4 full, not very much. So I'm going to put the batter in all of these. I'm going to fill up my cups like that. And then we're going to go ahead and it's ready to go into the oven. And remember, that is a 415-degree oven, and that is definitely the part that you're going to need a grown-up for. While it's cooking in the oven, we will go ahead and make the fruit part for when it comes out. So let's go ahead, we'll have the grown-up put those in the oven for you, and while they're baking, we'll make our fruit. Okay, Jerry, so your Dutch babies are in the oven. They're going to take about 2, maybe 5 minutes, maybe even as long as 8, but probably about 5 minutes to cook. It's okay to look and peek at them. In fact, I want you to take a peek at them after about 2 minutes and see how they're doing and see if they're starting to puff up. While they're in the oven, we're going to make your little fruit mixture to go on your Dutch babies. This could be anything you have around. It could be bananas, could be secret apples again. I have strawberries and I have blueberries. I'm using some frozen blueberries. I always have frozen blueberries around, which is yummy. And I like frozen blueberries for this. You can use fresh, of course. But if you have the frozen ones, that's always good because there's a little bit of juice that happens when you thaw them, and that only makes this even better. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my strawberries up. Just like we did before, we're going to go ahead and cut the tops off. Curl your fingers in, cut just the top off. Try to leave as much strawberry behind as you can. And we'll do that again. So, I've got a couple of more strawberries that I cut the tops off of. I'm going to put them off on their little flats so that they don't rock around on me. And I'm going to cut a couple into slices, just like that. But you want to cut some chunks? This is absolutely anything goes with this fruit mixture. I cut this big one and I just cut it into a couple chunks because I'm going to make some fruit salad. It all works. It's good. And my little Dutch babies are doing pretty good in there. They're almost puffed up and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up a little bit. And you can see that I have just a nice little sauce that kind of got created from the frozen blueberry mixture. And I'm all done with my strawberries, so I can get rid of those for now. And we've got a couple of the Dutch babies that we did before. And I'm going to pull our fresh ones out of the oven and add them to the mix. And then we'll put our fruit on there, and then they'll be ready to go. Okay, so the Dutch babies are ready to come out of the oven now. When you take them out of the oven, they're going to be all nice and puffy. And they'll start deflating actually pretty quickly, but that's okay. They're still going to taste yummy. There we go. So there's our lovely, yummy Dutch babies. I'm going to put a couple onto the plate. You definitely want the adult to help you with this. And we'll put it right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and just scoot this out of the way because our plate is full. And then we're going to put our fruit right onto our Dutch babies. Maybe you want one with just blueberries, some with just strawberries. Go ahead and fill them up with a bunch of yummy fruit, Jerry. And then you're going to always have to garnish, make your plate look pretty. And you can take a little bit of, we have the confectioner's sugar. You can sprinkle it with your fingers like that. Or you can take, we have a little strainer, a little sifter, and you can just tap it a couple times and put pretty, it's almost like it's snowing. So now your Dutch babies are all done. And the only thing left to do, of course, just like every time, is to give them a try and see how they were. My favorite part, of course, yum. So have fun, Gerry. Go and make your Dutch babies. You're gonna love them as much as I do, I'm sure. Mmm.